We are going to start either seated or kneeling. You do not have to have blocks. I'll teach everything both with props and without, because some people have them, some people don't, but I am going to use mine. So I have a little bit of height underneath my buttocks. So you can sit cross-legged if that's more available to you. You can sit kneeling with something under you. You can grab a chair and sit on a chair for the first part. They're all absolutely wonderful, right? No judgment on any of them. And welcome, my friends who are joining. Do try to find that erect spine. And erect doesn't mean rigid. I have to remember that myself, because sometimes when I think of erect, I think of, that super tall, like skyscraper kind of thing. But then where's the softness around that? And one of the things that helps me get tall without that rigid quality is I want you to think about your head being a helium balloon. Most of us have had experience with a helium balloon, right? You put the helium in there, it's super light, and if you were to let go of it, it would float up towards the sky. So think of the crown of your head being the top of that helium balloon, just really gently floating up to the sky. But most helium balloons, they have this string tied around them, right? And this string just kind of drapes down from that balloon, which continues to rise up. So maybe thinking about your body, your shoulders, your jaw, your eyelids, right? Your thighs, all of those being that string that just gently drapes down from the helium balloon. And as usual, if any of the imaginings or visualizations I bring in don't work for you, that's all right. Just sit up nice and tall. And then feel the points of contact you have with the earth. And that's going to be different for each of us because we're all in different positions, sitting up on things or not sitting up on things. But so whatever points of contact you have into, I'm going to call it the earth, regardless of what you're on. Yeah. Notice those. And gravity is holding us here. Maybe being grateful that that gravity holds us to earth. And then sensing the rest of your body, besides just those contact points, just whatever's going on in there. And although I often encourage you to notice if there's tenderness or pain or restriction, notice it most definitely. So we know to be tender, careful, whatever we need to do as we move throughout class. But then what about those spots that aren't painful? Right? There's probably way more of those than the painful one, but do you ever notice how we go to the painful place and we stay there an awful lot? So maybe you tune into all of the areas and spots that are not in pain, are not restricted, and focus on those too. And let's bring our awareness into our breath for a few moments. That belly so soft that the belly floats away from the spine on the inhale and back in towards the spine on the exhale. Most all you all study with me pretty regularly, but just a reminder, you are not forcing that. It should not feel stressful, right? You're not making it happen. Can you allow the breath? But definitely allow the belly to be so soft that the diaphragm has space to do a really wonderful job. Maybe when you inhale, not just letting the belly and the front ribs move forward, but even think about your back waist moving back, your side waist moving out to the side, and the same would be true of your rib cage. Yeah. So bring the awareness to the sides and the back for a few moments and see if you can't get expansion on those sides of the body. And about one, maybe two more breaths. We're all on different paces right now. And then when you inhale, you're going to gently open those eyes up. You can just softly blink the eyes open. And let's go ahead and start with physical movement. So bring your arms down and out to the side. Fingers don't have to necessarily touch the ground. I'm a little higher than the ground, right? But they're just gently out to my sides. Go ahead and turn your palms up. And when you do, notice how the shoulders move back and down. And we get this beautiful broad chest and collarbone, which is caved in an awful lot these days, right? So as you find that beautiful collarbone, try to keep out of your upper traps as we move up just to shoulder height. Pause. And at shoulder height, can you reach a little more fingertips away from you on both sides and feel how those shoulder blades hug in and support your rib cage, right? And the shoulder girdle for that matter. Now keep the inner shoulders soft and inhale, bring those arms up wherever it feels like everything wants to change for you and there's no longer softness. Exhale, turn the palms down and reach those arms down. So a little quicker, but the same work, yeah? Inhale, one breath is gonna bring you up to whatever that spot is for you. And exhale, turning the palms down, reaching them down. We're gonna add on with our next one. Inhale, reach those arms out and up, wherever is comfortable in your body. And then we're gonna lean over to the right. So you're just gonna bring the left fingertips down. You might walk them out a little bit or bend the elbow to keep the left shoulder soft. And our arm was already kind of in position. If that came out, go ahead and bring that over. Sink that left buttocks back down if it came up and just lengthen out of that beautiful side waist, yeah? Now let's play with the neck nice and gently this morning. Big or small, whatever feels best in your body. And everything we're doing, Amy, if you need to just do it smaller, please do. Go ahead and turn your chin down towards your right fingertips. And then turn and look up towards the bicep. And I should say ish. You don't have to go anywhere near that far in, right? And turn and look down, whatever that is in your body today. And turn and look up, and you're gonna stay there this time. Reestablish the buttocks bone down and lengthen out of that sideways, get long, and then both arms are gonna come up. And I'm wondering if your left arm feels any different than your right arm. Bring your right fingertips down, walk them out a little bit. You might bend that elbow to keep the shoulder down. And again, if that arm disappeared from the side of the face, establish that again, right? Root that right buttocks bone down and get it nice and heavy and lengthen out of that side waist. And here we go into the neck again. Cue or clue, I guess. Soften your shoulders away from your ears. Your head turns a lot easier, right? Go ahead and turn the head down. I don't mean you should go farther. I mean there's more ease around it. Go ahead and turn and look up, whatever that is in your body today. And turning and looking down. Again, making big or small here. And turning up, pausing, reestablishing buttocks bone down and lengthening away from that. Take a big old breath into that beautiful right side. And inhale, bring that all the way up. Arms get to come down this time. Hands on the thighs, palms up or down, and just pause for a moment. And again, tune in. We just did a whole bunch from about the hips up. So what's it feeling like in there compared to when we started? And I shouldn't use the word compare because I think we immediately go to big, good, bad, but rather contrast it to where we just were. Open those eyes if you closed them, and let's go into a twist. So we're going to start by using the core. I'd love you if it's available to bring your arms out, your shoulders, elbows about the height of the shoulders in goalpost or saguaro cactus arms, right? So now when you turn, don't turn from the shoulders. We're trying to ensure we're turning from our waist with this arm position. Soften those shoulders down and turn to the right. It's not very big, actually, right? Turn forward and turn to the left, sideways, 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 and come back to the middle. Doing that again. Turning to the right, using the core to turn you in and bringing that back. And by core, I mean exhaling to the left, everything alongside that spinal column that helps this twist occur, yeah? This time, pardon me, we're gonna hold it when we go in. So turn to the right, and then bring your left hand to your outer right leg, your right fingertips to the block, the ground, whatever works for you back there. Inhale, get taller before you go anywhere else. And now use the arms to accentuate, but still that core works pretty heavily here. I'm hoping that you're using about 70 to 75% of your core muscles that run all through the spine and in the abdomen, et cetera, right? And only about maybe 25% arms. And take a breath there. What did you just get tight? Are your psoas gripping? Is your jaw gripping? Are your upper traps gripping? Keep your body where it is. Turn your head to look over your left shoulder-ish, chin parallel-ish to the ground. I do a lot of ishes. Turn the body forward. We're all in different bodies, right? Goalpost arms. Soft shoulders. Turn to the left as far as you can. Now maintain, don't lose that muscular action. Right hand outside left leg, left fingertips back. Inhale, get taller still. And then exhale. Now use the arms just gently to guide you maybe a little further in. And again, even here, the more those shoulders soften away from the ears, the more mobility you have in the neck. Right? That is anatomy. That's true for pretty much everybody I've ever worked with anyway. Now keep your shoulders where they are and turn your head only to look over your right shoulder-ish. And turn the body forward, and let's come off of whatever boost we're on, and let's meet on hands and knees. Feel free to pad your knees if you would like to. Depends on what surface. Most all y'all have carpets. I do not, and my knees are getting older. I'm still grateful for them. Inhale, shoulder blades down the back, reaching the chest forward. And exhale, pulling the belly up, rounding the spine. So cat-cow, most all y'all know this one pretty darn good. I'm not gonna add anything too fancy to it right off the bat here. We're just gonna go into cat-cow and use it as an exploration of the last 2 of the 6 motions of the spine that we haven't gotten yet, right? We've already done 4 of them, and here are the last 2. That low belly tones up just a little bit when you reach the chest forward, just in order to keep that low back supported. Miss Amy, particularly for you, you might do a little less in your cow today, right? And pulling the belly up and rounding. And hopefully that feels okay, but if not, again, just lessen it. And coming back to your neutral. Now we're going to go into rib rolls. So if I were to put my finger on your xiphoid process, it would be the bottom of your breastbone, and I'm pointing to where mine is about, and yours is somewhere similar, right? So we're circling from there. So I want you to go ahead and I want you to move that down into cow. Now you're going to move it over to the right and up in a circle until you end up into cat, and then circle it over to the left and down, right? And again, make this smaller, Amy, but hopefully this feels okay in your spine if you go smaller. Go ahead and circle that same direction. I'm just speaking to a little injury today, friends. Thank you for your patience. If you have any, let me know, please. And you'll do one more. So we've done 3 circles that direction. If you've never been asked to move your ribs before, this is like, whoa. Go ahead and move it over to the left and up and into cat, and over to the right and down and into cow. And that was 1, right? So go ahead and move again, nice and slow. Notice how slow I'm asking you to move, and really try to articulate through the rib cage. You'll do 1 more of those. And once you have finished yours, we'll meet in child's pose. Knees can go wide, big toes touch, buttocks down. You might stretch those arms out in front of you, but then let the forearms come down for the first 4 breaths, right? I'm gonna boost my forehead up just so I have a little more volume for you, right? Without the muffle, but soft shoulders, soft forearms. Inhale into your low back and expand your low back as much as you can. And exhale. Inhale into your middle rib cage or kidney band. And exhale. Inhale into the upper back between the shoulder blades-ish. And exhale, and then seam those up. Inhale, start down in your low back, and then your middle back, and then your upper back. And exhale. Now stretch those arms out in front of you. Let's go to the width of the mat today. My broader shouldered friends, you might even go a little wider, right? And as you push down into your hands, those forearms lift up. You push a little forward with the hands and the buttocks bones move back. Your spine might get a little longer. Miss Amy, you might stay here today. And inhale up into hands and knees, chest forward, curl the toes under, and exhale back in a downward dog if that feels okay in your body, right? So I would say bend the knees right off the bat. We've done next to nothing in the hamstrings. Please don't kill your hamstrings, right? But with the knees very bent, try to bring your heels up as high as you can onto the ball mounds of your feet and feel the bottom, the soles of your feet stretch. So my butt stays high, but I bend my knees tremendously, right? And then push the right heel down any amount, may or may not go to straight. And lift it up, stack it, and push the left heel down. And bring it up. One more time, reach that right heel down with the left knee very bent. And bend the right knee, and then left leg, heel reaches down. Now bend both knees, but now both heels can start to reach down any amount. We'll be here for about 3 more breaths. You can always come down if it feels like more than you'd like to hold.
But I'm going to bring you onto that upper body again. You remember when I said your upper trap's moving away from your ears? Can you find that here with the full weight of the body and the arms? Not the full weight, but most of it, right? And then go ahead and walk your hands back to your feet. You'll end up at the back of your mat and we'll meet there. Grab onto your elbow points, bend your knees. Maybe not for this one, Amy, just depends on how it feels. Soften the neck and the tongue and the jaw and the brow. And bring your other forearm in front and just soften and let the spine lengthen. Hands on your shins, reach the chest forward, come halfway up. Exhale, folding in. And hands on the hips, elbows up, reach the chest forward and come on in. So we're not going to go as shoulder heavy as what we did the other day for any of my friends who were with me in class the other day or have done the recording. But I do want to add in a few times as we move through. I'm taking off my shirt so you can see my shoulder blades better. This move, right? So we're going to do saguaro cactus arms, which we already did. So just do this part with me here for a second. And then from there, I want you to keep don't let your ribs pop out, but you're going to move your elbows behind you, whatever that is in your body. For some, it might be like barely. For some of us, we can get a little further. Doesn't make one of us better than the other, right? Move those elbows back a little bit. We're grateful we have these shoulders that do all that beautiful lifting, typing, right? All the things they do for us. And taking a breath from there. Now we're going to reach our fingertips up, but we're going to try and keep a little bit of that upper back bend, right? And then we're going to exhale and bring the arms down. So we're going to go into that in a little bit. So now you've had a taste of what that's like without all the legs and other crap in there. Come on up to the top of your mat. Did you see I wore all my Thanksgiving colors for you guys today. Inhale, reach those arms out and up. And exhale, folding in. Inhale the chest forward. Now bend your knees and plant your hands, and your left leg's gonna move back. Left leg can stay lifted or the knee can come down. I'm going with the gentler version initially. Inhale, reach the arms out and up. Frontal hip points up. Exhale, bend the elbows down, but then also they move back a little bit, upper back bend. Keep the low back long. Amy, be careful. Reaching the fingertips up, move into a baby upper back bend here. Exhale the hands down and step back to downward facing dog. And breathe. And of course, if anything doesn't seem right for you, please don't do it, right? And I try to give modifications, but child's pose any single time you want it. Inhale the left leg into the air behind you. And then exhale, bring that forward between the hands, however you need to. Right knee can stay lifted or you can bring it down. And then inhale, come up into your low lunge. Right? Exhale, elbows down and a little bit back. Keep the low back uber long. Maybe you extend those fingertips back up into a baby upper back bend. Exhale, hands down, step forward to the top of your mat. We'll meet there. And inhale, reach the chest forward. Exhale, folding in. Hands on the hips, elbows up, reach the chest forward. Come on up. Let's interlace our hands behind us. That's not available. You could use a strap or just grab your shirt, right? And then from there, push into the sacrum, move the shoulders back. If you already have straight arms, come to bent elbows. You'll actually find more in the shoulders without your elbows locked out, right? And all the muscles tense. And then as you get those shoulders to open up, now maybe we start to reach the knuckles down, but maybe we do not. Depends on what feels best in your body here. And here we are in that beautiful broad collarbone again, right? So breathe into that collarbone. And release the hands down, adding on. Inhale, reach the arms out and up. And exhale, folding in. We're going to kind of do a once all over for the bodies today. Hands on the shins, reaching the chest forward. Bend your knees, plant your hands, and step your right leg back, but I'm stepping my left leg. Now we're going to add a little bit of strength. So if you want to leave that leg lifted, do or bring it down, whatever your preference is here, right? Move that left hip in and back, even as the left arm reaches forward and up, a line we play with quite a lot. Now, is your left shoulder up in your ear? Can you soften your shoulder away from your ear? Can you lengthen the neck? Tone the low belly in. And then from there, bring the hand down, just that, right? Bring the right knee down. Right hand under right shoulder, left hand on the thigh. Inhale, elongate, and exhale, move into the twist. Maybe that left arm extends up, just depends on what feels best in your body today. And then I want you to bring your awareness into your kidney band. And I'm wondering if you can inhale into your kidney band here. And then use that right kidney and try to move a little deeper into the twist as it moves forward. If you want a little extra juice, you're going to curl your right toes under and push your right heel back, extending the right leg. Inhale, length, everybody, wherever you are. Exhale, moving into that last little bit of the twist. And hand comes down, stepping back. If you'd like a plank here, take a plank, adding some strength, right? Heels back, chest forward, and exhale back, downward dog. We'll meet there. Taking a breath and taking it all in. So being so grateful for these beautiful bodies, because the things that we're doing, whether you're modifying or not, holy crap, we're able to move our body and do these things. That's kind of amazing. Inhale the right leg into the air behind you and step that forward between your hands. So you can leave the left knee lifted initially, or you can bring it down, whatever your preference is, right? You're going to put your fingertips on the ground and get as long as you can in your spine. Now from there, we're going to maybe reach that right arm forward and up, but keep the right hip moving back in opposition to it, right? And instead of laying on your right thigh, we're above it. We're pulling, toning the low belly in so that we've got that beautiful core line on fire, right? Hand down, left knee down, and then moving into the twist. Left hand under left shoulder, right hand, right thigh. Inhale, get tall before you go anywhere, long, I should say, in the spine. And then exhale, turn towards your right. Maybe right arm extends, maybe it does not. And the more you soften the shoulders away from the ears, the more you can possibly play with that turning of the head because the neck has freedom now, right? And then maybe you curl your left toes under and reach that heel back so much it gently straightens that leg. Don't jam that knee up, please. Inhale, get longer wherever you are. Exhale, last moment. Bringing the hands down, stepping forward to the top of your mat. Hands on the shins and reach that chest forward. Exhale, folding in. Hands on the hips, elbows up. Inhale, reach the chest forward and come on up. Exhale, bring the arms down to the side. So adding on a side stretch, I'm just going to step back a little bit so you can see my upper body a little better, right? Inhale, reach those arms out and up. Soften the shoulders down because they already want to go up in the ears usually, right? Can your right hand grab your left wrist? If not, you could just have the hands shoulder distance, right? Now you're going to take an inhale and pull out of that side waist without pulling your shoulder up to your ear and lean slightly over. And here we are in that beautiful lateral movement for the spine, right? But whoa, we feel it way more here than we do along our spinal column. And come back through center. Grabbing the other wrist. Again, don't pull the shoulder out of the socket, but lengthen out of the side waist and then lean over to the left, whatever that is in your body today. And inhale, coming back. And you're already at the top of your mat, I think. Exhale, fold in. Come back if you moved. Inhale, reach the chest forward. And bend your knees and plant your hands. And you're going to do a step back to plank. If you have something on your mat, you're going to move that now. A knee cushion. Move the knee cushion is what I mean. Right? Everybody put your knees down for this first plank. With the knees down, we have a little more ability to focus on the upper body, right? So now shoulders soften down away from the ears. Find that spaciousness in your neck again. Really push down to the earth and without locking out your shoulders, right? Feel that energy coming up into the shoulder girdle, open the chest. Now, some of my friends, this feels like plenty. Some of my friends, you might push the heels back and lift the thighs up while maintaining the work we just created, yeah? Now come forward on the tippy toes, knees down or no, either one. Come down through your push-up. We'll meet on the ground. Now, for today's version of a cobra, right? I want you to go ahead and bring your arms out in front of you and try to grab onto your elbow points. If the shoulders don't care for that, you could go wider and just have your hands stacked with your forehead down. And let's just pause in softness, whichever version you're taking, head on forearms or on the backs of the hands, right? You might lift your, curl your left toes under and lift your left thigh a little bit and lengthen out of the psoas area or the hip area and do that on the right side and then uncurl your toes again. And now just take another breath where you just feel the weight of the body coming down into the abdomen. So it's kind of weighted into the abdomen. And from there, we're going to go into low cobra. So now push down into your arms and your feet. And with an inhale, pull, traction your arms back towards you and lift your head and your chest just a little bit, right? But feel your shoulder blades actively pulling down towards the buttocks, the low belly toning in. And again, Amy, this If it feels like too much, you're just going to stay down, right? And avoid the upper back bends. And take another breath wherever you're working from, and then go ahead and come on down. Now, if you had your forearms crossed, I'm going to have you cross the other forearm on top, just for good measure, in the shoulder girdle. Now go ahead, and this time we're going to curl our toes under and push your heels back and let your thighs get really buoyant. Move the tailbone down, the low belly tones up, all the usual suspects, right? Now again, I inhale and I pull my shoulder blades down. I traction my forearms back, and that's what's going to lift me into a baby bhujangasana, right? Now, as I push my heels back like crazy and traction my arms back, I might get a little more traction in my abdomen, right? Or my psoas area, somewhere through there for most of us. And come on down. Uncurl your toes and just take a moment there. We've got another piece here, and then we'll come on up. This time you're going to stretch your arms out in front of you all the way. If your hands can come together and interlace, allow that. Bring your elbows in as close to your head as you can. And again, I'm lifting my head a little bit so you guys can hear me, but your forehead would be down on the ground, right? And then walk your elbows forward towards the hand side of the mat. And this might be plenty for your shoulder girdle. Maybe your knuckles get airborne, right? They lift up and they bend, the elbows bend and your knuckles end up towards the sky. Now this might be plenty for you, and you might just stay right here. You might curl your toes under, push your heels back, move the tailbone down even as the thighs lift, and then inhale, traction your elbows back. Mark, just be careful of the left shoulder. I don't know if you're with me today. I think I just saw Kate, but just in case, right? And get really, really long. So the elbows moved as far forward as they can, but now we traction them back. We pull the low belly in, and we take an inhale into whatever we're feeling in the shoulder girdle. And come on down. Just make a hand pillow stack. Let your forehead come down and take a moment there. Now let your knees go a little wider than your hips, no wider than the width of the mat, somewhere in that realm. Yeah. Bend your knees and let your feet come together. So the inside edge of my feet are touching, right? And again, you can drop your forehead all the way down. I'm leaving mine lifted. Now we're just going to go ahead and we're going to let our right arch slide down the inside of the left leg. And yes, the left leg does move out to the left a little when we do that. The right hip lifts a little. All of that is allowed. Come on back through center. After you've looked up at the screen and seen me do it once, put your forehead down. Don't crank your neck. Left arch slides down your right calf and comes back up. So now you've got it. So go ahead and do that a few times for yourself. And again, be really, really as muscular free as you can here, if that makes sense. Really let the pelvis just get that slow little kind of twist without torquing it. So if I put you in an MRI machine right now and we had an imaging of your hips, think about what would be happening in your hip joints right now, and the sacrum for that matter. You've got two SI joints. Some doctors don't believe that they ever move or anything happens, but I do not believe that to be true. And then from there, bring your knees back in, but your knees are still bent, and you're going to let your legs windshield wiper back and forth. And hopefully, Miss Amy, this one feels good on your low back. Hopefully it feels good on everybody's low back. If it doesn't, don't do it. And then go ahead and bring the feet down. Bring the hands next to the low floating ribs. And you've got two options here. You can just move up into a low cobra. And if you have low back sensitivity, etc., I would not do anything else. Maybe you straighten the arms and you move into upward dog, but I'm not going to teach it today. Exhale back. Let's all make our way back into downward facing dog. And hopefully this feels really neutralizing for the spine. Of course, you could do an active child's pose instead. And again, grateful for these beautiful bodies of ours that are doing all of this movement we're asking of it this morning. Regardless of if you have to modify or if you've got soreness or tenderness, they're still beautiful bodies. Oh, sorry, one of my headpieces just fell out. One of those days for me. I think it's tell everybody my car totally stopped, wouldn't turn on from a grocery store parking lot this morning on my way here. So I've been in a kerfuffle already this morning. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to walk our feet forward. So come up on the tippy toes, bend the knees, look forward, and step or jump the feet forward. And I'm grateful for my car, even though she didn't start this morning. Hands in the shins, reach the chest forward. And exhale, folding in. Hands on the hips, elbows up, come on up. And bring those arms down. Maybe close the eyes or mostly close them for just a moment and tune in. And I wonder if your body feels differently than when you started this class. Let's see, we've been going for a little over a half an hour.
And then what's your relationship to time when I just said that? Maybe it feels like it's only been 2 minutes. Maybe it feels like it's been an hour and a half. Go ahead and open the eyes and find something, not the screen preferably, find something soft to focus on. Not that it has to be soft. Your focus should be soft. Geez, Louise, see if I can get my brain together. You have a soft focus on something in front of you. And without moving your eyeballs, lately we've been talking about your peripheral vision, right? So notice how much you can take in above you, below you, out to the sides. And just take that in. We don't do it nearly enough, and especially with screens these days, we're very singularly focused and we don't use our periphery. And that does some not awesome things in our neurology. Inhale, reach those arms out and up. Exhale and fold. Inhale, reach the chest forward. Bend your knees, plant your hands, and you're going to step your left foot back this time first. We're going to come up into warrior two, just so you know. Left heel is going to come down to the ground. Right foot can walk to the left a little if it needs to. Before you come up though, friends, bend the right knee a lot. Reach the right hip behind you. This is the same work we did on hands and knees earlier, and then when we had our leg lifted, right? In windmill, the left arm's going to reach forward to bring you up, but try to keep that right leg exactly how you said it just moments ago, right? And I'm going to show on this side, so when we get to the other side, it makes sense since you didn't necessarily get to see me. More often than not, I watch a lot of this kind of stuff happen and then a resetting. So what I'm asking for today, not every day necessarily, is we find the hips, the pelvis, and the leg, and we bring it, we keep it as we come up, right? So pushing that back heel actively down, feeling that inner groin lengthening and opening. Turn the palms up, soften the shoulders down. And I'm going to turn my body only so you can see my upper body, but you stay in the pose. You're going to bring your arms into goal post. You're going to move your elbows back, right? Keep the elbows a little back, but reach the arms up. It's not really a back bend here on this one. I just want the side waist to be as long as possible, right? And then keep the side waist long, even as you bring the arms to shoulder height. Now, if the shoulders are truly out of the ears, maybe we can turn the head and look over the right fingertips. And if not, don't kill your neck for it. It's not worth it. Now reach and lengthen the right fingertips out, bringing the right arm to the right leg. Lengthen that left arm over. So we've been in this mode a couple of times today, right? That, am I saying everything incorrectly? I don't think I'm mirroring you right now. The left heel reaches down and the left fingertips reach away. My brain is obviously not here today, friends, so I thank you for your patience. Shoulders softening down, and this time maybe turning and looking past your left bicep. Take a breath from there. So if you're like, wait, she's not turned the same way as me, you're correct. I'm not mirroring. I apologize. And then from there, we're going to come up to warrior two. This is the last taxing thing for the legs. So try to hang in there with it if you can. Left hand down, right arm up. Heavy, heavy right thigh as you lengthen up. And if the shoulders are truly out of the ears, maybe we turn the head and look back towards the right bicep-ish. And bring that all the way down. Step back. I'm going to give an opportunity for the push-up series for those who want it. Don't want it, don't do it, right? Maybe you come forward on the tippy toes and you come through your push-up, knees down or not. Inhale, low cobra or upward dog. I'm showing the low cobra version. And exhaling back, we'll meet in downward facing dog and we'll breathe. Well, hopefully, if you're not breathing, that tells us something too. And inhale. On your exhale, come up on your tippy toes, bend your knees, look forward, step or jump to the top of your mat. Inhale the chest forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach those arms out and up this time, or hands on hips for sensitive low back friends, hamstring friends. Exhale, we'll all meet with our arms by our side. Now I'm going to change my direction so I still stay facing camera, but you can stay where you are. Inhale, reach those arms out and up. Exhale, folding in. Inhale that chest forward, bend your knees, plant your hands, and this time your right foot's gonna step back. The right heel will come down, and for me, I need to walk my left foot to the right just a little bit so I have a little more alignment with my feet. Whatever that is for you for stability, right? Now bend the left knee like crazy. Move the left hip back like we did in that twist, right? And then that right arm's gonna windmill. Try to keep the left leg sturdy and bent and in position on the way up. Ha, 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 ha. Right? Right heel pushes down. Feel that left groin opening as the knee moves over the second toe. And then from there, let's move upper body a little bit. So turn the palms up, soften the shoulders down, make saguaro cactus arms, move the elbows back a little bit. Don't go crazy with the back bend on this part, right? And then reach the arms up, get that side body length. Now bring the arms to shoulder height, keeping your side body long. Keep your shoulders out of your ears, and maybe it's accessible to turn the head and look over the left fingertips. Do not do that if that's not accessible or does not feel right in your body. Take a breath there. I'm already out of breath. You can hear it, right? So I'm with you. Reach the left fingers forward. Left arm comes down to left leg. Reach the right arm over. And here we are in side body length. So as you push that right heel down, really lengthen out of that right side body. Soften your shoulders away from your ears, and maybe it's accessible to turn the head and look to the right-ish, whatever that is to you. And I say bicep, but it's almost really your tricep that you're looking at there. And keep the legs, keep the legs, keep the legs. Inhale up to warrior two. Oh, I know. Bring that right hand down, left arm reaches up, keep that left leg heavy as you lengthen out of that into reverse warrior. Soft shoulders, and then turn the head. I watch everyone turn the head immediately with all kinds of tension in the neck, and then we wonder why we have neck issues. Well, bring that all the way down. Me too, I do it too. Step back, you got one more push-up series if you want it. It'll be the last one of class. That's not a challenge by any means. Exhale through your push-up. This time I'll show the upward dog version. And we all make our way back to downward facing dog. So I'm trying to find a place where we're working strength, right? Where hopefully, if any of my other friends like me have had kind of a lower energy and trying to get that up and moving, we're moving our energy, but we still feel that ground underneath us, yeah? One more breath here. And then on your exhale, come up on your tippy toes, bend your knees, look forward, step or jump to the top of your mat. Inhale, reach the chest forward. Exhale, fold. And inhale, rise all the way up. Your arm variation. Exhale, bring the arms down and pause. And just notice. And maybe be grateful that you're here today doing the class, right? Okay, so just to show you where we're going before we're going, right? We'll step back into a lunge, that part we know, right? We're gonna come up to a crescent this time, right? You don't have to do it, you're just watching right now. We'll use that arm variation and move towards an upper back bend. And then we'll bring it back down. We're gonna turn from our core. We're combining some things we've been doing the past 2 weeks or so, right? And as we start to turn, we're gonna lengthen that left leg behind us, and we're gonna bring ourselves into a twist as fluidly and gracefully as we can. Ha, 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 ha. The knee can totally come down. You could leave the arm on the leg, etc., right? And I'll talk about them when we're in. Standing up nice and tall, bending the knees, stepping the left foot back. So the right leg is forward. You can bend that left knee initially and inhale, reach the arms up. Push the left heel down and back any amount, but keep your pelvis neutral, your low back long. Bend the elbows goalpost. Move the elbows back, find a little upper back bend. Low back stays long as we re-extend our arms up, maybe not in your body. Now bring the arms back down to saguaro cactus. Turn your torso towards the right. Lengthen the arms out and push the left heel back as you bring that left hand down. So I'm also asking quite a bit of balance here, right? And then as you have your fingertips on the ground, shoulder blades down the back, maybe the head can turn and look up towards the right. Left knee could be on the ground, right? You could have the left hand on a block. You could leave the right hand on the right thigh. Take a breath. Where should you be living today? Move your right hip in and back. It would love nothing more than to move to the right of the mat right now. And then I forgot to tell you, we're coming up. I'm such a jerk. Bend the left knee a little bit, right? Look up or forward, whatever is best. I like forward personally. And then use that right side waist and the low belly to try to bring you back up. Oh! Inhale, turn forward, hands on hips, step forward. Woo! This is the biggest thing we're going to do today. You can hear how out of breath I am. Bend the knees, step the right foot back. Bend the right knee initially and reach the arms up. So keep the pelvis and the low back. That's the most important thing to me of everything, right? And then maybe the right heel reaches down a little bit, but maybe it doesn't. Now bring your arms to saguaro cactus. Move the elbows back, try not to puff your ribs. And then maybe the arms start to reach up and we extend, right heel reaching back a little more maybe. Bring the arms back into saguaro cactus, turn the body to the left, twist, right? Push the right heel back. That's one of your stabilizing forces here. So extend the arms and try to, as gracefully as you can, right hand under right shoulder. And now we're in the twist, work the twist for a hot second, right? Push the right heel back, chest forward. I gently push into my right hand. I put it on a block if I need to. I put my right knee down if I need to. And the more I get my shoulders out of my ears, the more it's accessible to potentially maybe turn and look up towards the left. And take a breath from there. Again, I like to turn my head forward again for balance and really steady my eyes on something. And then we're going to try to use the left side waist and the low belly to come up. Feel free to bend the right knee a little bit for that transition. Turn the body forward, hands down, step the body forward. Whew. So the good news is we're coming down to the ground to our buttocks. I shouldn't say good news. The potentially positive news, the potential like Crystal Joy Johnson news is I would love for you to go through chair if that's okay with. So standing up at the top of your mat, reach the arms out in front of you, push into an imaginary block, slide the shoulder blades down the back. And then as you start to sit down, maybe those arms start to reach up. Keep the low belly toning, keep the weight in the heels, keep the knees moving in until they can't anymore. And bring your hands down and bring yourself down or plop down, roll onto your back down, whatever you gotta do. Find your way to your buttocks without hurting yourself, please. Legs extend out wide. I'm gonna take a quick drink, pardon me. Okay. And then from there, remember you can always sit upon height if that helps you. Bring your fingertips back and look for the longest spine you can find. Shoulders a little back. There's that collarbone, right? Shoulder blades down. Now we're going to go into the side waist one more time. You're going to bring your left hand inside the left leg. And move back a little bit. I don't know if you can see me fully. And then from there, reach the right arm up. You're going to start to glide that left hand down. But here's the thing, as you go in, don't turn down towards the leg, try to turn away from the leg and up to the sky with your ribs. It's really going to just make you go forward. That's awesome, right? And then whatever points of contact you have, push your left arm and leg together, and that's going to help that rotation, right? Sink your right buttocks bone down. I could also say push your right heel out in a way that helps that. Soft shoulders may make it accessible for you to really gently turn the head and look up. If this is hurting your neck, why on earth would you do it? Right? And I mean that in a really gentle, caring, loving way. And inhale, come all the way up. Bring your right hand inside the leg, reach your left arm up. And again, as you start to slide down, we're going to want to roll down to the leg. I'm asking you to try to keep it open today, and we'll adjust, of course, once we get down, right? So just think about it staying open on the way in. And then push the right arm and leg together, and that's going to help this rotation a little bit. Instead of reaching the right shoulder up to the ear, that's not helping your side waist get longer. My upper trap thinks it is, but soften the right shoulder blade down, and maybe you have freedom around the neck to turn the head now. So I would say anytime you go into a pose, unless a teacher is teaching something very specific, get into the pose first and let the very last thing be the turning of the head, right? So we don't force the neck into things. Inhale, come on up. And let's go ahead and we're going to grab the inner knees to bring the soles of the feet together. Grab onto your ankles, they're called, right? I always forget ankles. I don't know why. And try to pull against them to lengthen out. Soften the inner groin as much as you can. And then maybe there's a little fold for you, yeah?
And instead of having the arms come down to the legs today, the arms are going to drop in front of the shins, if you even get that far, right? And you're going to push the pinky edge of your toes to the pinky heels together. And as you push your pinky toes and your pinky heels together, I'm wondering if you can't feel how that hugs the outer glutes in and lengthens the inner groin. And now we're not trying to make it happen by forcing anything in. I'm not saying that's incorrect or wrong. It's not. I teach it often. But today we're working a different way. And take another breath. There is no right or wrong, right? It's just different functional movement or dysfunctional movement in the body, depending. Inhale, reach the chest forward and come on up. Hands on the legs, bring the legs up, legs move out in front of you. Again, feel free to have something under the buttocks or the knees a little bent. Get nice and tall. So that core work we did, you remember that? Try to keep that spine. When I say core, all I mean is the spine is elongated and we're able to sustain it, yeah? Reach those arms up and try to pause here. If that means bending the knees so that your pelvis can move into place, not a big deal. No big deal at all. I'd rather see bent knees than this, I'll tell you that, right? And then from there, we're gonna start to fold forward, pelvis, 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 and then bring the arms down. You're gonna pull against the legs and you're gonna try to reach your chest further forward, shoulders away from the ears, buttocks, bones back, heels forward. And that should really squarely put you in the middle of the hammies, right? And if you're like, nope, it doesn't, talk to me, right? But otherwise, maybe softening the spine down a little bit. And you can choose to grab onto the pinky toes, right? You can choose to drop the arms outside the legs and just soften into a forward fold. We didn't do oodles of back bending, but we did do some. So it might feel really good to just soften and release between the shoulder blades right now. And then wherever you are, inhale, reach the chest a little forward, long spine, right? Walk the hands back, walk the body back up. We're going to come on down to our backs. We're not quite in Shavasana, but if you know you want to cuddle up with coats or not coats, but I mean long sleeves or socks or whatever, have them put them on, have them standing by, etc. And then I'm not waiting for you, but you guys know this part well and good. If you want that core, right, it's there for you. That said, come down safely and we'll meet on our backs. No rush. Let's let our first move be to bring our right leg into the body and interlace around the shin and just hug that right knee in and just lengthen that right low back. And again, Amy, this probably feels good, but don't do too much of it if it's not feeling right. And bring that right foot down to the ground and bring that left leg in and maybe you hug that leg a little closer. Let the spine round if that feels okay in your spine. And bring that foot back down. Now from there, let's go ahead and go into thread the needle, right? But we're going to go into it a little different way than what we often do. So bear with me if you don't mind. Notice that your pelvis is probably pretty neutral right now, meaning one hip is not closer to the ceiling than the other. Yeah. And also, hopefully, one hip is not closer up to the head side of your mat than the other. So we're going to try and maintain that. We're going to bring the right knee in a little bit just to reach the heel up to the sky, right? And if your knee is a little bent, that's totally fine. So hopefully the right hip didn't drop down or lift up to the right shoulder. Now, I want you to externally rotate that right thigh, right? So if my hands were on your thigh, I would so gently rotate the femur bone in the socket so that your inner groin starts to roll out to the right side of your mat. Yes, the toes turn out, but move from the femur. It's much wiser. Then bend the knee and place your right ankle on your left thigh. And again, hopefully the hips haven't moved at all during all of this. And then maybe you bring the legs in and you interlace. Now, when you do that, right, chances are really great that you just moved your whole pelvis and low back. So can you regain that? Can you come back to your natural lumbar curve? Can your right hip stay neutral with the left on the two different planes I pointed out? What planes? What the heck? The right hip shouldn't be lower than the left right now, hopefully for today's purposes, right? And the right hip shouldn't be further up to the right shoulder. If it helps you to imagine, I put my hands on your thighs and I really gently pull your thighs forward to the front of your mat. That might help you find that. Take another breath here. And then you're going to keep your right leg crossed. Bring the left foot down to the ground if it was lifted. Walk your left foot to the right just a little bit so it's more towards the middle of your mat. and then lay your outer left leg down. This one's a little mental puzzle, right? And then from there, I want you to use your left hand, and I don't want you to just jam your knee forward, but I want you to literally externally rotate that femur bone again, right? So if I try to move my inner groin, roll it up to the ceiling, and I rotate that femur bone, I start to get this beautiful stretch in my right hip. Shouldn't be painful. I mean, shoot, I feel it in my low back today. And then go ahead and release that. Bring the legs back up. The left leg is the driver right now. Walk your left foot over to the left a little bit. Bring your right foot down and pause. You might lift the hips, rolling the buttocks forward and setting that back down just so you have neutral hips to start. And again, notice you have a little bit of curve, hopefully in the low back. Not everybody does, but many of us do, right? And our left hip is hopefully no higher up to the left shoulder than the right, nor is it higher up or lower down to the ceiling or ground. And then from there, we're going to reach our left heel up to the sky. Rotate, literally externally rotate the femur in the socket, and the left ankle comes to the right knee. Now, hopefully the hips are neutral. Maybe the legs come in and we interlace. To do that, we probably almost, I would say 90%, right, lost our pelvis. So now, again, can you find your natural lumbar curve? And can you get that left hip neutral to the right on the two planes we're working with today? And if it helps you to imagine my hands on both of your thighs right now, gently pulling your thighs forward to the front of the mat, use that. And I guess I didn't say it on the other leg, but there's still the element of the external rotation in the left thigh bone, right? That's one of the main things that starts to isolate us in the glutes. Now go ahead and bring the right foot down to the ground, left leg staying as it is. Walk your right foot towards the middle of your mat a little bit and lay your left leg down, outer right leg down. And again, today, for today's purposes, I want your right hand, it's just the closest to it, to come up to that thigh and like a jar of peanut butter, rotate your femur bone, right, away from you so that left knee moves a little forward. And I'm not really, the left knee isn't what I'm interested in. I'm interested in what's happening in your hip socket. Again, if I put an MRI above you and was imaging your hip right now, what would you see? Take one more breath here. And then release the leg, bring the right leg up. It drives everything up. Right foot can move over, left foot comes down. Again, today I'm going to say lift those hips up a little bit. We're moving into Shavasana now, friends. So go ahead and reach those buttocks forward, lay back down with that nice long low back. Maybe feet on the ground, feet a little wide and knees lean in. Maybe legs extend all the way out, whatever feels best in your body. And remember, a blanket or a pillow under thighs is usually the happy medium between those two things. But find yourself in a nice, open, and relaxed Shavasana. So where should the arms be so that the collarbone opens, right? Where should the legs be so that the low back is not taxed, the hamstrings are not taxed, but where you get an open space in the abdomen? Where's the position of the neck and the head? And make any little adjustments that help you find this place where hopefully there's not one nerve being pinched or impinged upon, right? Where everything is open and able to move freely. And that's from our lymph fluid to our blood, to the messages from the brain, the hormones, etc. If you notice tension in any muscles, take a few breaths and soften that area. Maybe grateful that you have this beautiful breath. I mean, it keeps us alive, literally. So thank goodness for that. But at the same time, like the breath, I don't know, it's so much more. And hopefully you discover that more and more, the more you bring your awareness to it and play with it.
Grateful to that ground underneath you that's supporting you and holding you right now. And any of my worker bees, I do have an eye on the time. I will finish us pretty much right at 10, but if you need to get out of here early, of course you do. And in the classes lately, for my friends who are just joining us and don't take the Zooms regularly, we have just been working a lot with when the mind wanders off. You know, what works for you today to bring it back to the breath and notice the breath, to bring it back to physical sensations in the body. And if so, just continue to scan the body. And bring your awareness back to your breath wherever you are. And maybe stretch those arms overhead. Whatever little movements feel nice to you, please add those in. And then when you're ready, you'll roll over to one side or the t'other. You might pause there and take a breath. And then you might push that floor. Well, please do push the floor away. I don't know about might. Push the floor away and come on up to seated or kneeling or whatever feels right in your body. And again, just so I'm not deceptive, when I kneel, I always put something under my buttocks. I mean, not if I'm working a pose, but not to end or, start class anyway. And just sit up nice and tall for one more moment. Let's bring our hands together in front of our chest and take an inhale. And keeping that beautiful long spine, bow the head gently in. And gratitude. So you have a choice. You can choose to look at all the negative things that are happening in your life, and especially around Thanksgiving this year, right? Or you can choose to look at the positive things. And it does make a difference which one you choose to focus your attention on. So I invite you to please focus on the positive things, because there are many, right? I love you guys. Namaste.